Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife, and today I have a Bible Journal process video for you. I am going to be working in Worry to Worship, which is the August Creative Retreat Kit devotional. And today we are looking at the thought of worry and why we worry and how to replace our worry with worship for God. And I'm going to be journaling in Psalm 62 verses 5 through 8. I have my supplies pulled out. I also have some other alphas from previous kits that match really well with this particular kit that I'm going to be using as part of my prayer. And I have the stencil that you can get that coordinates with this month's kit. So I have some fun supplies pulled out. I will link them all below if you're interested in checking those out. Otherwise, I will put you on fast forward. Let's go. This turns out to be a pretty simple entry. I'm just going to start with a little bit of ink through the stencil to create a simple background. What I loved about this particular devotional was that it acknowledged that worry is kind of just in our human character. Jesus tells us not to worry, but it comes so naturally to us. And I have always thought that worry comes so naturally, and trust is a discipline that has to be worked on. At least that has been the case for me. And so that is what I focused on this particular devotional entry, was that before the worry starts is when you really have to practice the trust. When you are deep in anxiety, it can be hard to remind yourself. And so you build up your trusting muscles, your faith in the times where you're not feeling quite as anxious. And then you can lean on that faith that you have built through your relationship with God in the times when you are feeling really anxious. You can see that I've taken the rose stamp and just stamped several colors along the edge, and then I'm going to take the washi to go all the way to the edge so that some of these roses are kind of peeking out. I am just working on a background because my plan is to have a list that goes down the right side of my page, and it's kind of an if and then, but what I'm calling it is first and then. And so the idea is that first you have to have the disciplines that will build that trust, that will build that faith, so that when the worry comes, it's almost unavoidable in the human condition. Worry is going to happen because things happen in life that cause us to be anxious. When it comes, you will have built up a muscle so that you can deal with that worry in a godly way through the example that Jesus gave us. At the bottom here, I'm working on a cluster of stickers. You can take these little stems and add them to the bottom of the roses. I think this might be one of my favorite sticker sets. I love working in these floral bouquets. I could like make little sticker floral bouquets all day long, I feel like. And I'm actually going to use the tab as my title down here, which says Worry to Worship. You can put this tab at the top, but I'm actually going to use it as the title on this particular page. I end up deciding I'm going to add a few more spotty dots over here on the left. And now I'm going to start my list up here in the upper right hand corner. Now, I always save all of my alphas that are left over each month from Creative Retreat Kits, and I would encourage you to do the same and keep them nearby because you can use a lot of the previous alphas, which is what I'm going to do in this case. So I want to mark off my first, and I'm going to put the things that I feel like I need to work on first. These are daily choices that I need to make that will build my faith. So I'm using the word seek, meaning I'm going to seek God's kingdom first. And then I will spell out the word remember, which means really taking note of the times that I can identify that God has shown up in big ways, and remembering those times and keeping them at the forefront of my mind so that when I am feeling lost or am feeling anxious, I can go back and remember that God has shown up for me before. Wait, which is another hard discipline for me, waiting for God's perfect timing, and then worship. Worshiping even when it doesn't necessarily feel easy. Sometimes it feels really easy to worship, and other times it feels a little bit more like a discipline, but I can tell you whenever I've gotten to the end of worship, whether it's I'm sitting and listening through a song and singing along, whether I'm working on a Bible journal entry, when I've gotten to the end, even if it didn't start out feeling great, then at the end, I really feel that connection growing. So I have my list of firsts, meaning the disciplines I'm practicing, and then I'm adding the word then, because then peace, which transcends all understanding. That is when we're really able to unlock the gift from Jesus, which is that peace that defies the logic of this earth. Like I have done many times before, I do a photocopy of the back of the devotional so that I can use that pattern paper. And then I'm just going to pull out a journaling card from my stash. These are actually just blank journaling cards from scrapbook.com. I will mat it on top of my paper here just to bring in a little bit more of that pattern. I never like to cut up my devotional. I know I probably could after I've read it a few times, but I just want to keep them together. It doesn't feel good to me to cut it up. So I like to just photocopy the back since it's for personal use anyway. And then I will trim that off, and that is where I'm going to write my notes for my page, just bringing in a little color. Another option would be to take a look at the faith-filled digitals that you can get that will coordinate with this kit. That's another great way to get access to some really beautiful journaling cards that will work with the colors of the kit. All right, I'm going to pull up a couple of stickers here and nestle my journaling card. It'll fit right in there. Perfect. So adding a little bit of adhesive to the back so that it will stay down, and that'll be a great place to take notes. What I end up writing in there reads like this. It says, worry is easy. It's the default. Trust is a discipline. You have to first seek God. You have to remember all God has done, wait for his guidance, and worship always. It's then that Jesus's gift of peace can take hold. And for me, that was the big lesson as I was going through this devotional, is that worry is the default and worship is something that we can work towards to replace our worry, but it doesn't come effortlessly. It's going to be something that has to be practiced. After I finish writing out my notes, then I'm going to add a date stamp with the date for today, and I'm going to mark off the verses that I'm focused on over in Psalm 62, and that is verses 5 through 8. A few more stickers and then this entry will be done. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have linked all of the supplies that I ended up using down below, so make sure to check those out if you are interested. I hope that you have an absolutely fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.